Hello and welcome back to the Princess K podcast show. Your host, Princess Kingsman. So, um, so this is the part three of questions and answers. So I have about 6 questions to answer. Okay. I will try and be very quick. Some of the questions that you guys are asking. Anyway, all right, so let's get down to business. Okay, so the first question is that why are you so mysterious? Right. Why am I so mysterious? Huh. Honestly, I don't think it's anything that I do. I don't think it's anything that I try to do consciously. I think that's just how I've always been. Okay. That's just how I've always been. Okay. Since I was a child, okay, I've always been I've always been like that. Okay. I can't explain it, okay, because sometimes, like I said, people think that I am putting on an act of mysteriousm or mysticism. No. Um it is my soul. Okay, so if you're asking me why am I so mysterious, it is my soul that is mysterious, not me. Okay, so it's my soul and my spirit that are mysterious. Okay, not me. And I can't really, answer that because, like I said, I don't know how to answer it because it's not something that I try to do. It's just something that comes naturally. Okay, so and because, like I said, I have a whole different inner world, okay? So most of the time when people think that I'm focusing on something else or they have a certain perception of me, it's I'm actually the opposite. Okay? And this is why I said before that looks can be deceiving, okay? So, yeah. That's what I'm going to ask. That's the question. That's the answer for that one. um Number 2, you do know that you are actually more beautiful than you think you are. Oh, thank you very much. Who said this? Let me check. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're going to make me go red. um, okay, so what is the question? Yes, I do know actually. But the thing is, once I look in the mirror, okay, um, and then I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm beautiful, okay. But then once I leave that mirror, I forget. Okay, I forget completely because, like I said, I'm not superficial, and it's very easy to think I'm superficial because obviously, people have the perception. Ugh. People have the perception that you know that I look superficial, but I'm not. Okay, I have my head. I won't say I have my head in the clouds because that's just not the right way to describe it. I'm just like I have so much more important things to think about. So the only way I can describe it is like I'm very intellectual and I'm very like in my head. I'm always like problem solving and analyzing. So I'm very analytical. So it's just like I'm always in my head, and then at the same time, I'm not always in my head, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't want to confuse you or blow your mind off, right? But what I can say is that I don't put my beauty in my head all the time. I don't go like, "Oh, I'm beautiful." I don't put it on my head, and I don't use it to behave to other people. Okay, so I just I'm more of a mind thinker and a spirit thinker. I'm not more of a beauty superficial. I don't trust beauty because beauty is very fleeting. It's very fickle. It can change. Okay. So thank you very much. Okay. For that. Yeah. So that's the answer for that one. Number 3. Okay. Your eyes are so captivating, and I would I could get lost in them. Oh, thank you. Okay, okay. This one sounds like a flirty message. You okay? All right. Um, funny story about my eyes. They have gotten me into trouble so many times. You guys have no idea. That's why I had to stop wearing lashes. Okay, I used to wear lashes. If some of you, you know, see my previous pictures or my previous life, I used to wear lashes, and it would get me in trouble. And it's not like I'm doing anything, I would just be nice. Maybe I'll be nice to a girl or a boy or a man or a woman, and automatically the man would think that I'm flirting with him, and that's not the case, right? It's just my eyes, okay? And I've gotten into trouble so many times in terms of, I would go out with some of my ex friends, I would go clubbing, and, you know, some women could be with their partners and they would just automatically think, oh, she's flirting, oh, she's da 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 da, and that's not the case. Genuinely, that is not the case. Okay, so that is why most of the time now I wear sunglasses. I wear my shades when I go out. I wear my shades where I go when I go out, because it is it has gotten me into trouble. Okay, and sometimes, like I said, I see into people, I see through people, and it can be overwhelming. So when I wear sunshades, it kind of like blocks it out a little bit. It doesn't mean that I still don't read that person. I mean, it's not something I can I switch off. Okay, it doesn't have a switch, because, like I said, um, my abilities are just like always constantly working. And this is what I was talking about with the previous question, that I am always in my head thinking, okay, I'm in my own world, okay, my own inner world. So, you know, it's very, very difficult for me to kind of like, oh yeah, I'm carrying the no, I'm always like in my head. I'm always thinking, I'm always problem solving, I'm always thinking about the future. Even though I'm present, okay, I am self-aware, I'm present, I'm grounded, but at the same time I'm always thinking ahead, and I'm always thinking, like, just picking out energies. Okay, that's just me. So it has gotten me into so much trouble, so much trouble, because they are very seductive, and I do not mean for them to be. They just are. They are just very seductive. So, like I said, I've gotten into trouble. I don't want to go too deep into that. But yeah, thank you very much for that question. All right, so number four. Okay, what's it? Sorry, number five. Um, what do you hold in your hand when you're talking? Oh, this? Right. So this is a crystal ball, okay? I normally love to hold it. I have other ones, okay? I am a I'm a crystal fan, so I have a lot of crystals. But this one is a crystal ball. It helps me to focus. It helps me to get clarity, because I get psychic attacks, like I said. So it doesn't have the same effect like it used to. But like I said, when I tap into too much energy, I can get headaches. And this helps by rubbing it on my forehead, okay, all the way around. Um, and this gives me clarity of thought. So any mind fog or anything just helps me to think straight, and it helps when I meditate as well. So it keeps me grounded. So when I am doing my messages, I find it easier, okay, because your palm, okay, your hands has so much power in them, and because I work a lot with my hands in terms of magic and energy work, so I tend to use that. It helps me focus. Okay, I have rose quartz. That helps to open up the mind. Like I said, it helps with mind fog and everything. There are tools. Okay, there are tools that I use. It's not something that's like you know before all these religious people start coming for me in my emails. Like it's not. It's their tools. Okay, that I use. I have black tourmaline that helps with people trying to infiltrate my thoughts and my mind. So there's different crystals and different and because I channel a lot, I pick up on a lot of energy, and I'm a very deep thinker, and a deep feeler. I feel everything, like I said in my previous video. So these crystals, they help. Okay. Um, so that's what I do. And this is a labradorite. Okay. I've had this for years now. This is a labradorite. It's a dragon's blood labradorite, and this helps with, like I said, intuition, focus. It also helps with groundedness, and it helps with whatever abilities that you have naturally that is within you. It multiplies it. Okay, it brings it out, and it helps me focus my intuition, even though it's already there. So they all have their jobs. So that's why I like to hold it. I'm not casting a spell on anybody. Okay. All right. So last question. All right. What spirits do you work with? Huh. I work with a lot of spirits. Okay. I'm only gonna mention a few. Okay. We both work together. Okay, they work for me, I work for them, so it's a team. That's why I call them my spirit team. But the number one at the top of my list is I work with Yemoja. Okay, she's the mother of all fishes. Okay, if you research her folklore, those who know who are from my tribe. um I work with Yemoja. I am the reincarnated daughter of Yemoja and Oshun. Okay. Yemoja represents the moon, Oshun represents the sun. Um, and she controls the seas. Okay. She's the mother of all fishes, mother of all creatures underneath the sea. Okay. Um, I also work with Olokun is also um, she also controls the seas as well. Um, and then I work with Hecate, okay? She is the goddess of witchcraft, goddess of crossroads, um, and so on and so forth. You can research her. I work with Lilith, okay? People have the wrong perception of Hecate and Lilith, but I work with both of them, okay? I also work with Medusa, okay? I also work with Isis. I have some Egyptian ancestors that I work with. I can't go through all of it, but the number one there's Anubis. I work with Anubis. Anubis is a god of the afterlife, the god of mummification, and the god that guides souls into the afterlife. Okay, and that is at the threshold. So when you transition, he is there to weigh your heart against the feather of Maat. Okay. And then that decides where you go to, whether you go to purgatory, which we call hell, but it's called purgatory. I don't want to go too deep, so I don't want to blow your mind. But yeah, I also work with Sekhmet. Okay, I work with Sekhmet. She's the goddess of war. I work with Basset. I also work with Hades and Persephone, okay, the gods and goddesses of the underworld. I work with Pegasus. Pegasus is a horse with feathers, okay? He was brought up from when Medusa was slain. You guys can research it. Okay, he's a seahorse. Okay, Pegasus. All right, I work with him. I also work with Yeshua. Okay, I work with Mary Magdalene. I work with Sophia. She is the embodiment of divine feminine. Okay, I work with my ancestors. Okay, like I said, I have a lot of ancestors. I can't tell them. I'm not allowed to tell you how many they are. um, I also work with Papa Legba. Okay, he's also a goddess of the goddess. He's a god of he's a god of a crossroads as well. Research him, Papa Legba. Okay. I also work with Santa Muerte. Okay. I work with death itself. Okay. Because I've died so many times. Okay. I work with death itself. Death is a spirit. It has its job. It takes souls, so it guides souls from here onto the next world. I work with death. I work with people. Another thing I want to say is that people that say that the dead don't talk, they don't like. First of all, they don't like it when you say that because they are not dead. Okay, they are just on the other side. Okay, and there is a veil separating us from them, even though there is no veil to me because of my abilities. They're just on the other side, they're in a different reality. Okay, so they do talk and they are not dead, they just transitioned. Okay, it's just their body that is left here, their spirit and their soul lives on the other side. Okay, so when we mourn our loved ones, they are there, they are always around. Okay, they are not, looking down from heaven, or no, they are just in a different reality. And because they are simply awareness and energy, they are no longer in the body anymore, they're simply awareness and energy. They can be in multiple places at the same time because they are energy. Okay. um so I speak to people who have passed on, and they speak to me, like I said, because I am a medium. They tend to pass message through me for people, and sometimes it's just for my own knowledge. Okay, because not everybody can handle some information. So some people call it necromancy. Okay, necromancy is where you speak to, but they are not dead. Okay, so they don't like to be referred to as the dead because they are not dead. Okay, death is an illusion. Okay, death is an illusion. All right, so it they just transformed to the other side, they transitioned. It's called transitioning to the other side. So they don't like to be called dead because they are not dead. Okay, so when next you're referring to your loved ones or people that you know that have passed on, they are not dead, they are just on the other side. Okay, they are dead to this world, but they are not dead to the other world, if that makes sense. Okay, so I speak to them. Okay, I speak to angels. I work with angels. Another thing I forgot to mention as well is I work with Poseidon. Poseidon is the god of the seas. Um, he has a temper. Zeus is worse. I work with Zeus. Zeus has some real nasty temper. But yes, sometimes I work with him. Um, I work with nature spirits, okay, the spirits of the nature, okay, there's a lot of them. I work with fairies. You guys can think I'm crazy. You guys can, fairies are always around me and I have seen them multiple times, okay? They are not what they are portrayed, they are not what they are portrayed as in movies, okay? I'm not going to say they are ugly because they don't like that and they will fuck you up. Fairies are powerful. Don't think, no, they will fuck you up. They will fuck you up. Okay. They are very powerful. They could be tiny, but they're very powerful, okay? So I work with fairies, all kinds of fairies. They have their own realm, okay? But I work with them. But yeah, that's how much I work with a lot more, but that's the ones that I can think on top of my head. So, but yeah, that's it. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate the questions you're asking. Like I said, I don't answer personal questions. If you like, write a long paragraph. I'm not going to answer you. I'm not going to answer you. All right. So I will be back shortly, and have a lovely day. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell, and it will give you notifications when I post. Okay? Thank you so much. Don't forget to continue to love yourself no matter what situation you're in. Whatever you're going through, other people have it worse. Okay? other people have it worse. So, in whatever situation you are, always be grateful. It's easier said than done, okay? But always have it at the back of your mind that others have it worse than you do. And comparing yourself to another person is not a good way to start your life. You will never be happy as long as you're comparing yourself to others, and always be content with whatever you have in life. It doesn't matter how small, always be content and grateful because that is how you attract more. Okay? Thank you. I love you always.